In this video, we'll learn a few tips on how to enter data. The first thing you want to do when you're ready to enter data is to plan. You want to plan a data structure that follows those tidy data rules that we learned about previously. And this planning should ideally happen even before you collect data so that your field sheets match the entry format and you don't miss any important information. Typically, data will be entered into a spreadsheet, a text file, a database, a form on the web, or using an app on your phone. And all of these are reasonable options. Spreadsheets provide an additional layer of protection against bad data being entered in the first place, and today we'll see an example of that. There are two methods for ensuring that data are high quality. The first is quality assurance. Quality assurance is preventing bad data from ever being entered in the first place. This occurs prior to data entry, and in a spreadsheet, we'll see how to set rules about what values can be entered using something called data validation. This can be done in Excel or Google Sheets. The second method for ensuring high quality data is quality control. Quality control is looking for bad data that has already been entered, and this occurs after data collection, and it can be done by sorting the data, graphing it, and looking for realistic ranges of values. So if you see a value that is unrealistic, you can flag it as a potential error, return to that original data sheet or the original sample and remeasure. So quality assurance occurs before data collection, and quality control typically occurs after data collection. And together, QA/QC helps prevent and correct errors. So let's look at an example of QA/QC in a spreadsheet using the portal small mammal data that we previously used. So let's imagine it's a new field season and I'm a new PhD student and I need to get my data table ready for the upcoming season. So I open up Excel and think about my column headings and the types of data that I will collect. So this field season, I'm training a team who don't have experience with Excel or entering data, and I want to minimize any potential errors. So I'm going to set some data validation rules. You can do this by navigating to the data menu and then looking for this icon under data tools. So there'll be two cells, one with a check mark and one with a kind of this not allowed icon. And if you hover over it, you'll see it's data validation. So data validation is typically done by selecting an entire column or an area of cells. And this allows you to select what kind of values you want to allow. In this case, I know my scale that I'll be using to measure weight only allows whole numbers. So I'm going to allow whole numbers. And I know that the scale allows values between 1 and 20 grams. And I also know that the specimens I'll be sampling fall in this range as well. I can also include input messages to help the user remind them what values go in this cell. So I might enter a title like small mammal weight in grams, and the input message is weight should be a whole number between 1 and 20 grams. And this reminds the user what kind of values go in there. And I can also set an error alert. So if invalid data is entered, show this error alert, and you can choose the different style. This could be a warning or provide more information. But in this case, I want a full stop and something like the title, check the enter data for accuracy. The error message might be value should be whole numbers and fall between 1 and 20 grams. So if you can imagine somebody's in the field, they're ready, they have their specimen, they're ready to enter weight, so they select a cell and they receive that input message reminding them what values go in there. But let's say you have a slip of hand and by accident you actually accidentally enter 2 zeros. And when you select enter to go to the next row, you receive this error message. Values should be whole numbers and fall between 1 and 20 grams. And that's a red flag, right? And say, oh, right, I accidentally entered 2 zeros. Another type of value that is often used is with species. So there's typically always typo when entering the species names. So let's do another type of data validation. In this example, I want to provide a list, and my source, I need to enter those species codes. So I'll enter the species codes, and these will become in-cell drop-down menus. So I'm creating a drop-down menu for that'll populate each cell. And the input message, species code, I don't really, well, I can see the value of having an input message, but the error alert, instead of a full stop, I want it to be a warning because there might be a scenario where you get a species that's not in your list. And I might have the error message as, is this a new species? If not, use the provided codes. And okay, so I've collected my specimen, and now you can see that drop down option, but maybe I can't identify it, or if it's a new species, then I can say the species is unknown. Is this a new species? If not, use the provided code. So is this a new species? Then yes, and I can continue entering my data. All right. So today we talked about quality assurance and quality control and saw a few examples of how we can do this data validation in Excel. So now it's your turn. Check out the next exercise, upload your submission, and check on the discussion board. And next week we'll start using R.